Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here, it's the Duck Princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
Oh, the Duck Princess. Yeah. We got to have duck this weekend. It was
We did.
amazing.
I literally tried to figure out her name. It's like, hey, we ate duck this weekend. I'm
We
gonna tell her
did.
Duck Princess.
Wah, wah. She's not a duck. She's a silly goose, and she belongs in the pond with her friend Cat.
No, cats don't belong in water,
Interesting.
though.
This
Cats
one
don't do well
does.
in water. Cats don't do well in water. Come on.
This one does. This one does. Weird week. What a weird weekend. It was just weird time in general for a Melball. Melball's struggling, but she's here. She's
Yeah,
alive. She made it through the weekend. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Yeah, very long last few days for us. We were with wrestling and everything. It just a lot, over the last few days. And now as we record this, it's Tuesday. This will come out to you on Wednesday morning, and lots of great stuff happened over the weekend. WrestleMania. Got to hang out with Mel, watch WrestleMania on night 2 with a bunch of people. Ate some rice, duck, and other meats, and ice cream. That was tasty.
Mhm.
Saturday, watch Mania with people. Saturday morning, if you go back onto the OLE feed, our local establishment's YouTube feed, you can check out our Tokyo Joshi Pro live in Philly watch along, where that show is from Friday, but we watched it on Saturday morning with the awesome Bobby Munson. That was a good time.
Mr. Money Munson set up everything for us, and we got to take in some amazing professional wrestling on a start for a weekend of just nonstop professional wrestling. It was great.
Yeah, again, it was crazy. We watched Stardom on Thursday, then I watched ROH Friday, Tokyo Spurs Saturday, Mania Sunday. I still haven't got a chance to watch Spark Joshi Pro yet. Spark Joshi from Sunday, which I want to see, which has a bunch of Stardom people on it. So just a crazy. And then seeing all the photos of all my friends I have that went to Mania, all the wrestlers I follow at Mania, all the
Mhm.
Stardom ladies were at Mania this weekend, hanging out with
Mhm.
Rossi and Julia, and yeah, it was just big old weekend of professional wrestling.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I was happily inside eating my duck instead of auto correcting it. Stupid Bama Jamma.
but with all that said, there is one show that I feel almost, for at least on the North American side, got kind of lost in the weekend. But we did watch it.
Mhm.
I watched it today. Finally got around to. Well, started yesterday. Finished it today. uh, we finally got around to seeing it, and that was the show we're here to talk about, NJPW Sakura. I almost said Puroresu again. The NJPW Sakura Genesis show from this past weekend, and again, incredible wrestling throughout an entire great weekend, man. It's just been crazy, man.
Mhm.
It's just been crazy. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes. And Poco Loco.
un poco loco. Okay.
And Poco Loco.
I don't know what that means. I'll have to ask Boris.
I don't know. I heard it on a TikTok thing somewhere.
I guess I'll have to ask Boris from SNME because I don't know what that means.
I think Loco is crazy.
Is Poco chicken? Is it
Yes.
crazy chicken? I'm thinking it's
Isn't
crazy chicken.
Polo chicken?
Polo Loco. Polo's
No,
chicken. So
Polo.
El
Yeah.
Polo Loco. That means El
No,
Crazy
it's
Chicken.
Poco
Oh,
Loco.
Poco Loco. El Poco Loco. I have no idea. We'll have to ask Boris over at SNME and get the translation. But before we get into this Sakura Genesis review, I want to thank each and every one of you guys, especially everybody for showing up on our YouTube right here on our YouTube page, on Melball Wrestling Talk, with the great support on last start and review. Thank you so much. A lot of great response there. Thank you guys for the comments over there, Ray Z and Laz. Thank you guys so much for chatting there. And I want to thank everybody over at SNME Radio for all the great support and all the downloads. And I look at that, the numbers, and it's doing great over there at SNME Radio. So thank you so very much for checking that out. it was our OLE Japanese Wrestling Update show that we turned into a Stardom review because we reviewed the whole show there. I hope you guys liked the little bit of news a lot of bit of news we had at the beginning, the first like 20-25 minutes of that show before we got into the review. So thank you guys so much for the great response. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning here on, whether it's on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk or Backbreaker video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. We love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the don't forget to share it out to all the creepy crawlies across the world, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can alert it every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong, don't share with the bugs.
And also for
share with the bugs.
Anybody listening on Saturday Night's Main Event Radio, thank you so very much for downloading it. If you can give us a 5-star review, we really appreciate it. Mel just did kisses to the camera, but you can't hear that.
Well, that would be rude, wouldn't it?
Well, you're giving kisses to the SNME universe, but they can only hear us. So,
well, this would encourage you to check out Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk Live so you can see said kisses live.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you can, please give us a 5-star review. Like us and subscribe on whatever your podcast catcher is. We would very much appreciate that. Even if you give us 5 stars and say we suck, it's fine. We don't, but that's fine. Just give us 5 stars. That's what we asked for.
You tell him, sir. You tell him.
That's right. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But we're going to get into it. We're talking Sakura Genesis from April 6, 2024. I need to pull up my notes now because I was using my phone. Now I'm going to pull up my notes on my computer because I'm not good at my job. We kick it off. Pre-show Frontier Zone 6-man tag match. It's Chaos's Tomohiro Ishii and Toriano with the big old boy, Bolton Oleg. And they're here to take on from 2AW. It's Ayato Yoshida, the former 2AW champion. He has the wavy black hair. Chicharito Shoki. He's the guy in the back with the look like the middle part and the bowl cut look.
Bowl cut, yeah.
He was the tiny guy in the match. And then we have Takuro Nikki, who's the current 2APW or 2AW champion. And he had the red hair, so I have wavy black hair for Yoshida, I have tiny guy for Shoki, and I have red hair for Nikki for my description, so I know how to tell them apart in the match, and I don't screw up their names.
I was very proud of myself because if you recall on Japanese Wrestling Update, when I saw this picture, I was like, "Oh, I know who Yoshida is." You were like, "No, I don't know who that is. He doesn't have any history online from NJPW. Internet failed you."
The
internet failed you.
I agree. The internet did fail me for the first time in my life. The internet failed me.
But you also have been watching NJPW longer than me, and this guy was here when I first started watching it, so
yeah, but
your memory also failed you.
I'll admit my memory failed me, and I'll admit I paid a lot less detail back then than I do now. I watched a lot, like my early days, watched the big shows. I wouldn't pay attention to Young Lions. I would look at my phone while watching them. Again, I didn't pay attention as hard back then. I was a fan, but I was more of a casual fan at that point of Japanese wrestling. I like my Kenny Omegas. I like my Ospreys. I like my AJ Styles when he was there. I like the guys that brought me in. I got into watching other people, but didn't pay attention to the Young Lions. That's for gosh darn sure. I skipped a lot of Young Lion matches back in the day. Still do. I still do actually.
Well, I mean, skipping House of Torture matches, and what's there left for you to watch in NJPW?
LIJ and the United Empire. That's what it is.
I am just happy that I had that one up. I knew I was right about this. I knew this guy's face. I have a gold star now.
Yeah, so Ayato Yoshida, according to Chris Charlton, was with Kaintai Jojo years ago when he was a young lion. He followed when the company split into what became Just Tap Out and 2AW. He went with 2AW, but when he was with Kaintai Dojo, he would come in and do matches with the Young Lions back in the day.
Yeah, namely Mr. Shota Umino.
Yeah. New logo for Chaos. If you noticed on the graphic cards, it's no longer the old Chaos logo. It's literally a blue rectangle with white lettering of Chaos written in it. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Maybe I just wasn't too interested because Chaos was coming in and they're not my favorite faction right now. But yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I did. It was weird. I was like, "Oh, new logo for Chaos. Hopefully, we get a new version of Chaos soon."
Well,
Yeah,
they're kind of leaderless right now, I would say, and arguably, I would say that this faction has not been really functional with itself, let alone in the company, for quite some time. I would say a couple years, ever since Okada hit his like kind of midlife crisis there, that first time that he lost the IWGP World Heavyweight
Oh,
Championship there.
when he went Red Balloon. When he made him the
Yeah,
Red Balloon, yeah, that version of Okada was weird.
yeah, but that Okada threw chaos into chaos, literal chaos. They've kind of been on this downward spiral because it's like, who is chaos?
They're Chaos.
Like, if you didn't actually know the members, though, and if you were a new member just kinda coming in the last couple months and you were like, "Who are all these people of chaos?" And you're seeing what United Empire is doing for United Empire, House of Torture is doing for House of Torture, and LIJ is even now helping LIJ guys. But where the fizzity yuck is chaos, the faciest face group in this company?
Mhm.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and even more so going. I know they just announced the tournament for the six-man titles in Taiwan, and the one night tournament. Uh, Tanahashi's teaming up with Yano, his ex-partner, but again, two different stablemates, and Bolton Oleg to enter that tournament. So, like, I don't know. It's like Kaientai or it's a Kaientai. No, Kaientai. What's their fucking team name? What?
Kai and Time Meat Boy.
No. What's Tanahashi's group's name?
Mm,
Hantai. It's a Hantai
oh,
Chaos Young Boy crossover team. I don't. I just think Chaos and Hantai just need to go away at this point and let Yo run a new faction.
I think they need a rebranding. That's
Yeah.
just what they need. They need to
Oh, I know.
rebrand what Hantai is because Hantai is the base
I
boys, right?
I,
Chaos can go away, but Hantai needs to kind of figure its ish out.
I know what they need to be. They need to be Yo and Tai and just be led by Yo. And then everybody's just crazy.
No,
Yes.
just no. Absolutely not. Take us
So
into the
yeah,
match, sir.
Yoshida getting in the face of Ishii before the match. Shoki is in with Ishii, chopping him, having no effect. Um, and just gets wrecked by Ishii. Nikki is in with Bolton Oleg, but gets dropped, and he's taking it to Bolton Oleg, but Bolton Oleg just shoulder blocks him down, works him over. Yano comes in, removes corner pad, whips Nikki into it. Nikki fights back, but gets pulled down by his hair and gets whipped into the exposed corner again. Ishii just chopping the hell out of Nikki, but he fights back, hits a drop kick, then another. Yoshida comes in, and so does Oleg. He takes Oleg off the apron, drops Ishii, takes out Yano. Yoshida and Ishii trading strikes. Yoshida ends up dropping Ishii with a running boot. Uh, Ishii blocking kicks. Yoshida gets a super kick, but Ishii hits a German. Oleg comes in, slams Yoshida, misses a flying body sausage, as Chris Charlton said. And Yoshida hits some big kicks. Shoki comes in, hitting Oleg with running kicks. Gets a flying arm scissor. 2AW triple team Bolton. And Shoki tries to lift him, but he just can't. You don't lift the Ichiban Meat Boy. Oleg catches Shoki, and and Gut Wrench swings him into the suplex. Gut Wrench does a Gut Wrench swing around, and it does a Gut
Meaty,
Wrench
meaty, meaty, meaty,
suplex.
meaty.
Hits the suplex, but can't get the pin or can't get the three on the pin. Eventually, he gets Shoki up on his shoulders, hits the Green Bay plunge, and Bolton Oleg gets the win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was a surprising one for me.
I'm
But
very sure this man is not doing Excursion. I think he's going to pull a Kosei Fujita and just he graduates and keeps going.
I don't disagree with you that that's probably what's going to happen. I disagree that that's the route that would properly take him to where he needs to go successfully speaking. We are always going to see people who do their excursions, they just end up better. With Koze Fujita just kind of came in better. I feel like he's one of those, you know, people who has that natural, crazy technical talent that has just blossomed in him under the tutelage of Zack Sabre Jr. I think Bolton Oleg is going to be a star 100%, but I feel like he's under the same kind of umbrella that Hikuleo was when
Hmm.
Hikuleo was going through the Young Lion thing, and he was coddled quite a bit by his Bullet Club brethren, and we saw how that kind of slowed and hindered his ability to kind of pick up speed, especially once Bullet Club kind of dissolved and he didn't have that backing anymore. And we've had to watch him struggle to get his way up to where he needs to be. And I feel that if they do the same thing with Oleg, it's going to be the same thing. He's good now. Nurture that now. Don't put him in this situation where we have to wait 4 or 5 years before he can actually get his feet underneath him because he's kind of just walking on air right now. He's so good. I'd like to see him nurtured properly. But he did so good in this match, and he deserved that win. The way he yeeted around everybody, it was really impressive. Yoshida, though, was kind of the star for me, not just because I knew who he was, but because I remember him fondly back in the day being the only young lion that I saw throwing kicks and wearing kick pads. And I thought that was interesting. And of course, it was because he was in a different dojo. They obviously train him a little differently. The kick's still a major thing for him, though. And they're good. They're damn good. They are stiff. They are crisp. I would compare them to Momo Watanabe style solid. Solid, solid, and he can be really mean with him. We saw him kinda, like, coming in, facing off with Ishii being very mean and nasty, and we saw him soften up a little bit against other people, but he definitely got into that more focused kind of time when he was in there with Ishii. I'm hoping that they expand upon these little feuds that start to happen in these frontier matches so that we can start to see more of these guys coming in and out doing maybe instead of multi-person matches, we can start to see some singles matches start getting thrown up in there because I would love to see Ishii and Yoshida, but I would also love to see Nikki and Yano. I feel like they could have a really fun 10-minute banger of a match that would just be fun and entertaining and just a good show off match for the two of them.
Hmm.
Um, the little guy, Shoki, he was so adorable. There were so many parts of the match where I didn't think he was actually in the match. Like when he would get off the apron and stand at ringside, I thought he was like one of the young guys just there, like in the same capacity that the teammates in Stardom are. And like, so I don't feel that I got to see as much out of him as I did his other partners, or at least not as much as I would have liked to. But otherwise, very solid. This was a pre-show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very, very solid pre-show match.
Oh, very much. I thought again, and it was nice seeing the two AW guys in there.
Very fun.
So, so we're gonna move on to the opener, and it's El Desperado teaming up with Ryusuke Taguchi, taking on TNDK's the frontman Zack Sabre Jr. and now the Japanese young punk Kosei Fujita. Well, I'll confirm why that is true in a little bit here. But Battle of
Okay.
Suzuki Gun here. Sabre versus Desperado to start it off. Battle of the old Suzuki Gun team. Good rolling and transitions from both Desperado and Sabre early, kind of like transitioning in and out. Gooch is in with
Mhm.
Fujita. He gets the butt drops, as I'm gonna call them, instead of drop into the drop kicks or the butt drops. The drop butts. There you go. The drop butts. Instead of drop kicks or drop
The
butts.
drop butts.
Uh, on Fujita, but he comes over the top to drop another butt. Oh no, sorry, this was the actual butt drops. Yeah, he's like dropping the butt on him. He comes over the
Yeah.
top to drop another butt on him. Fujita gets the knees up and crotches the Gooch. Um, it's pretty funny. Um,
Mhm.
Fujita with the stomps gets a single leg crab, or sorry, Gooch fights back and he gets stomps and a single leg crab though. Um, Saber ties up, gets in with Despy, ties up the legs. He ends up atomic dropping Gooch, then gets the bow and arrow on Desperado, and then into a pin for 2. Saber pulls an armbar. Then Desperado transitions to the stretch muffler. Then he transfers back into another armbar. Then back into the stretch muffler. Then into the octopus and a pin attempt by Saber. Then Desperado gets a side suplex. Just great work with these two. They did just
Mhm.
transitioning so well. Gooch in with the butt slams. With the running and slamming the butts and people getting those butt slams, and misses the springboard butt slam, but Saber gets the Pele kick to the arm. Head scissors sending Gooch to the floor by Fujita, but Gooch dodges before the tope. Sakose Fujita gets on the apron and smacks Gooch on the floor with the apron PK. Back inside, Fujita gets a springboard swanton to Gooch for 2. Gooch fights back with the kicks, hits a butt slam, the enziguri, and the bamaye, but it gets broken up. Saber takes out Desperado. Gooch takes out Saber. Then Fujita gets a European clutch. Chris Charlton said it wrong and called it an O'Connor roll. And he pins Gooch for the 1, the 2, and the 3.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It,
Finally.
it,
Finally, finally, finally.
it is technically the O'Connor roll, but it's Saber's variation that he taught to Fujita, so it is a European clutch.
Okay.
Now it might be
You
the
get on the
Japanese European clutch.
you get on the next thing. You let Mr. Charlton know that.
That's right.
Um it's really awesome to see Fujita picking up some wins. So it was a very frustrating end of the year there where we knew just how damn good this kid was. And
Mm-hmm.
he was their Bushi. He was their Taguchi. And he was taking losses to people like Taguchi, which was very painful. Very painful. Twisting a knife in my heart. Um yeah, this was just technical mastery when Desperado and Zack Sabre Jr. were in there. And I knew that Desperado had that technicality in him. He just doesn't pull it out very often because it's not often that he has to go into the ring with someone who is so technically sound. So it was a really nice treat to see these two guys kind of bringing out a new side of Desperado because I feel like he's going to be in for an evolution this year. Just because he's kind of feels like that wrestler just kind of listing lazily in the ocean. He doesn't really have a distinct direction that he's kind of going in, right?
Mm.
Because he doesn't really have a faction. He's just kind of hanging out with Hantai and Chaos a little bit, but like he's not officially a part of them. He's kind of his own dude. So I'm interested to see where this year is going to take Desperado, especially with some of the news that you shared with me earlier. Um, but Fujita, holy hecking crap. This was such a showcase for him when he was in the ring. And he has this oddly magnetic charisma about him where, like, when he gets into the ring, if I'm in a conversation with someone, I can't maintain the conversation. I have to focus on what it is that he's doing because I can't focus on the conversation any longer. He's just that good. You know what I'm talking about, man?
Oh
They're
heck yeah,
just
man!
that good that you just can't. The words are not a thing when they're wrestling. That's Kosei Fujita.
That was Osprey for me for still to this day. When I see that man get in the ring, I
Mm,
just kind of have to watch. I don't have the ability because I just watch what he does, and it's
mm,
just tremendous. And Kosei Fujita is that same way. He's just got that utter
mm,
presence to him that you're just like he steps in that ring and you're like, what is he gonna do? I need to pay attention. I need to watch what this kid is going to do. He's so freaking
mm.
good, man. He's so freaking good.
It's just like Drilla Maloney for me. Same thing. So good. This was a great match. I'm very much looking forward to see what happens as a result of some of the things that came from this match.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. Tag team match. It's L.I.J.'s Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi taking on Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay and Gato. Bushi with the half Bushi mask, half Kamataichi mask. I thought it was a
Mhm.
clown, but Mel told me it's Kamataichi. I was unsure because Hiromu had his Kamataichi mask. So I was
Mhm.
confused how it was half Kamataichi and not half clown, but whatever.
Yeah, Hiromu doesn't typically, he has his Kamataichi mask. Bushi is the one who does
The half
the
and half, yeah.
various members. Like, he even has, like, remember there was that one where he had a skull sort of on it, and then his styling on it, and then the Naito eye, and then a scythe on the side when
Mm,
Sonata and Evil were still there. So, like, he has his, like, homage
yeah,
masks.
yeah. So Finley whips the shirt at Hiromu while Lij does their fisting. And they put their
Sir.
arms up in the air and fist each other. Come on, I say it like
It's
that.
the facials.
Finley or Chris Charlton saying Finley is very unhappy that he's still not on the card and that he has to wrestle against juniors. Where technically his partner is technically a junior. I'm fairly sure Gato is a junior. I could be wrong on that one,
We
but
established that he was like a low heavyweight.
oh, he's a little heavyweight. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Finley bullying and beating up Hiromu early. Hiromu fights back with the head scissors. Lij double team Finley and end up taking out Gato. Finley fights back, takes him out, hits the Irish Curse backbreaker to Hiromu for 2. Finley tosses Hiromu out, and Gato attacks him on the floor, running him into the barricade and the post. Finley gets another backbreaker in the ring, tags in Gato, and this is where the War Dogs all fall apart. Hiromu fights back on Gato. They fight off Finley. Bushi comes in and fights Finley and Gato. Drop kick off the top in the Busharoonie by Bushi to Gato. Finley attacks but gets fought off. Hiromu sends him to the floor. Hiromu dives off the apron on the Finley on the floor. This is where Bushi goes to the second rope. Instead of the MX, drop kicks the knee of Gato and applies his new leg lock submission, and he gets the tap out victory here. Yeah, I think the lesson we have to learn here is Finley, don't tag in Gato. This is how you lose.
I mean, and it's not like it's not the trend of Gato, right? This is what he did with Okada. This is what he did with Jay White. This is now what he's doing with Finley. You don't tag in Newt Newt. Don't tag in the
Dude.
Penguin.
Dude.
Oh, his shoes are just, they make his feet look like penguin feet. It's terrible. Terrible. It was really awesome, though, to see a Bushi win. It's very rare nowadays, sadly, that we see a Bushi win, but we got not only a Bushi win, we got a Bushi submission win. Hot diggity
Mm-hmm.
dang. And afterwards, Finley pissed
Mm-hmm.
the hell off, and rightfully so. I mean, let's be honest, since Wrestle Kingdom, it has been a bit of a downward spiral for the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs here. We're
Well,
seeing him,
he did. His faction got the win in the cage match, so that was a positive.
yeah, but he lost the Never Openweight title at the end of the year. He lost the opportunity to have, or he lost the global title right away,
That's
Nick
true.
Nemeth.
Yeah.
Like, and then right away after that, we had so many questions about contracts and stuff. We have sadly Alex Coughlin having to retire. We've got with Gabe Kidd was in question, Drilla Maloney was in question, Connors was in question, hell, even Finley was in question at one point.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more questions than answers surrounding Bullet Club and David Finley in particular. So this is, it makes sense to me that he's a little pissy because
Mm-hmm.
Gato's supposed to be the person who fixes things. He's supposed to be the blacksmith. You're supposed to make things strong and sturdy. Newt Newt. Start with them shoes.
Oh, goddamn shoes. Yeah, again, yeah, he lost out on his opportunity in the New Japan Cup too by getting sick. Again, it's just this was his first match back
Mhm.
in New Japan since he got
This
sick.
episode.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so again, we'll see
And
where he goes. is it a redemption arc going into the G1, and maybe he's a G1 winner. Maybe he gets that again. It may be a redemption mark into that because again, we have Best of Super Juniors coming up, which we will talk about later in the show. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Very odd start to the year in NJPW.
Yep. So we're gonna click over and we're gonna go to a 6-man tag match. It's the United Empire's Callum Newman, Great Khan, and Jeff Cobb taking on just 5 guys: Doki, Sanada, and Yuya Uemura. As the hair gets longer, Yuya Uemura looks a little less dumb every show because he looked dumb with the shaved head. I think it looks stupid. But as the hair grows out, he looks more like a normal human being. And I'm a guy who shaves my head, but it suits my head. It doesn't suit a shaved head. Does not suit Uemura.
No, it actually makes him look, depending on like how his face looks, it either ages him way up or it ages him way down. Like before he starts to get sweaty and stuff, and you can start to see the texture on his face, he looks like a child. But
My
then when
picture
he
right
starts,
there, the card picture we have on
yeah,
screen, he looks like a goddamn angry little child.
he does. He looks like an angry Sonata at age 13 is what he looks like. But then when he gets a little bit of texture in his face, he suddenly looks like Sonata's older brother who's seen a lot more ish and is haggard for it. Yeah, I really hope he can't do a whole lot right now anyway, unless he just puts a mask on. But I really hope he stops doing the red thing, the red tip that he was
Mm,
doing on it. It looks. I know you liked it when you first saw it because it separated him from Sonata, and that's fair.
mm.
But like now that it's grown out a little bit, it just looks dirty.
It does. It doesn't look good with the grown out hair. So Uemura trying to drop Cobb early. They end up doing the crisscross. Uemura hits a drop kick, still can't drop him. So Doki gets tagged in, and they hit the double. They double team him and double drop kick, finally dropping Jeff Cobb. Cobb ends up stopping the attacks of Doki, catches him on a daybreak attempt, hits a delayed suplex into a military press. Cobb and then Cobb drops Doki, hits the standing moonsault, and Chris, it's so unfair. It's so
It's
unfair.
just not fair.
It's
It
just
is
not
just
fair.
not fair. Kevin Kelly, we love you.
And Cobb does the cocky pin for 2. Just like, dude, if you would have actually maybe cooked the leg, you might have won it there. Khan has Doki in the corner, gets the Mongolian chop to the front, then the back, then sits on his head on the top turnbuckle. Newman in, taking control of Doki. But Doki comes back, gets the satellite head scissors to tag out. Sonata in, taking out everyone, sends Newman to the floor, hits a plancha, sunset flip back in, but Newman rolls through, tries for a paradise lock, can't get it, ends up getting La Mystica into the PK. Uemura comes in with Great Khan, getting the arm drags, taking the 2 Khan. They're each trying to wrestle for position. Khan gets a hip toss. United Empire triple team Uemura. They all attack in the corner. Newman gets a shot to the back. Khan hits the belly to belly, but Uemura crucifixes Khan for the win. And I'm like, was that a mistake? Like, I literally was wondering if that was a mistake. So Khan shoving with Uemura after the match. Uemura hits a deadbolt to Khan. He picks up the KOPW title, looks at it, then lifts it up in the air, then drops it on O'Khan and leaves. I guess Uemura has fallen so far that he's now in the KOPW ranks. This is
You know,
I'm
the
sorry, this is the bottom of the barrel title in this company, in my personal opinion. Maybe just above the Never 6-man titles. That's about it.
as a singles title, yeah, I would say this is the least highest rated. This is the least rated one.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that as this is going to sound mean, it's not intended to be, but it is
Be
where
mean.
he needs
Be
to
mean.
start.
Be mean.
The bottom is where Yu Uemura needs to start. Of the 4 returning young lions in himself, Yu Uemura, Yota Tsuji, Red Narita, and Shota Umino. I would say of the four of them, he is the weaker of the four. And I feel that working against somebody with the experience, the talent, and just the know-how of the Great Khan, but most importantly, the proper expression, the proper things happening with the face at the right time. I feel that he's gonna learn immensely and a shit ton from working with the Great Khan and working something with him. I hope it's like something that is like a month, maybe 2 months planning, maybe like a month and a half. Month minimum to get it kinda sorted out. I'd like to see what Okan can bring out of Yu Uemura for passion and interest and stuff like that. But, yeah, I feel like this is the best place for Yuya to kinda start his climb. I'm not gonna lie, though, I found the end of this one to be, really underwhelming. It
Mm-hmm.
just kinda happened, and I was just like, "Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
was a thing."
Yeah, it
Um
happened. It happened.
Yeah, I always love seeing Doki though. It's such a joy and a privilege to watch him wrestle, especially now that you've discovered how great he is, because he is actually really good.
With all those
That hair though,
chokies. With all those
just the
chokies.
Doki chokies.
We didn't get one on this
Yes.
show. Another show,
No,
no Doki Choki. I'm not
I
reporting on it
am.
anymore, but
And you know what? You know what's funny actually? I was trying to look up the Doki choki the other day to show a friend of ours what it was. And I stupidly searched Doki choki, and you want to know what came up? An episode of our show, NJPW Puroresu Review.
I was expecting something very gross, honestly.
No, I actually could not find anything that was actually wrestling related when I saw Choki Choki. It was like some weird necktie thing, not like the actual move, but like a necktie holder. The
Odd.
things you find on the internet.
I was thinking something so much grosser, but you know,
Yeah, I know you were. The internet disappointed you again.
I figured it's gonna be that like some the other pronunciation for his name, Dookie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rude.
that's what I was
That's just
expecting you to
you
say. We move on. Jeff Cobb joins commentary immediately.
immediately.
Doesn't even go to the back. Just goes and sits down, sweaty as all hell. Just goes and sits by Chris. The young boy's going and getting him towels and getting him his something to a jacket to wear and all that other stuff. I don't know if he got
He
a
didn't even
jacket.
have it.
No, but
No, he was just in there in the singlet for the rest of the show.
yeah. He wants to make his statement instead of going backstage. He's saying he's going to make it here. Just five guys sucks. United Empire #1. And then he calls Uemura a young boy. Says he needs his gear to be washed in cold water.
Mhm.
It was funny.
I'm not dried. Not dried. It needs to be hang dried, he said.
Yeah, and hang dry too. Yeah. So we move on. It's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Title Triple Threat Tornado Tag Team Title match. Blah. Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, and Joe Maloney defending their championships against Catch 22s, Francesco Akira, and TJP against the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. Awesome new jacket and backpack for Kushida coming out. Looked like it was like a
Mm.
rocket pack because he had the stuff blowing out the bottom of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, the Marty
Knight,
McFly thing.
yeah, and Knight looking like Doc Brown with the way he's got his hair, he's wearing the glasses. I love the new jacket and pants for him. He looked really good. He wasn't wearing the tights this show. He had tights on last picture I saw him. But back to the pants for this show. So yeah, TJP has the half Oswong face paint on, looking really good. They're blowing the
Mhm.
blood mist there into the air. This is going to be total chaos, and it was, even though chaos isn't involved. Uh, everyone brawling. The Jet Setters get a drop toe hold and running frog splash to Akira. What?
Aren't the Jet Setters technically a part of Hantai Chaos?
No, Hantai. Chaos is technically a separate faction. But again, it's all chaos. Um, uh, they hit that drop toe of running frog splash to Akira combo. He fights back, taking them both out, gets them in the ropes. TJP hits a wrecking ball drop kick to both over the top to the apron, hitting that wrecking ball drop kick. TJP gets the face wash on Knight, then hits running boots in every corner to all four of his opponents. It was great because they get them all into all four corners. It was really good. Again, I'm just doing spots here because there's a lot. TJP gets the triple submission on Knight, Connors, and Kushida because he had the Muda leg lock on one guy, he had a guillotine on another, then he had a rear naked choke on or sleeper hold on the third. It was I think it was a sleeper hold. I don't remember what the third one was, but again, it was just a great spot. And then Joe Maloney comes in to break it up because his boy Clark Connors is one of the guys getting submitted. Great spot. As people were trying to break it up, he was catching them and putting them into war submissions. It was a really good spot, but he didn't have any other arms for Drilla, so
I mean, yeah. And even Drilla technically run down an arm too.
Yeah, true. Catch TT goes for the Nini on the apron to Connors, but Akira gets the feet swept out from under him, and Connors, who's through the ropes, as TJP runs at him, grabs him, and literally does a power slam while he's half through the ropes to TJP on the apron. Looked great. I love that. That was actually really cool. War Dogs double team Knight, beating him up, taking out everyone who tries to attack him. Knight tries to fight back, eventually gets a double Pele kick. Then the Jet Setters take out Catch 2 comes in. Kushida hits the drop kick through the ropes. Just sending somebody, I can't remember, it sent somebody into the crowd. Then everybody fights into the crowd. Knight, it's a springboard off the top to everybody in literally in the crowd. It was great. And then the ref starts counting everybody out, and everybody's on the outside. So I'm not going to get mad at the ref for this because everybody was on the floor. So a count out seems fair at this point. And then Mel's favorite spot, everybody gets in at 19. Everybody. It was great.
Literally everybody. Why? It's like the super kicks. It's like everything becomes trendy, and then it just gets overdone to the point of annoyance.
Yeah, everyone's brawling. TJP gets Drilla in the Tree of Woe, but fights off another attack. Drilla fights out of that. A Knight does a hop up Rana to TJP off the top, then hits sky high to Akira for 2. War Dogs get hit and run to Knight, but he kicks out at 2. Kushida gets sent to the apron. Connor spears him off the apron to the floor. Drilla stops the springboard by Knight with a low blow and then hits a suplex. Kushida fights off Drilla Killa, but is taken out, and Akira hits a tope onto someone on the floor, and TJP hits a final cut in the Mamba Splash to Drilla in the ring for 2. Again, it's just going, everybody in, hitting finishes to each other. Catch hits the knee to Kushida, but Connor breaks that pin up. Leaning Tower stop. Kushida gets a roll up for 2. TJP gets a Pinoy stretch. Kushida, I can't remember who he got it on, but Kushida gets, he got on Kushida, then Kushida gets out into a hoverboard lock. Then Knight hits a DDT to Akira and hits a hoverboard lock on Akira. But then the War Dogs break up both submissions. Just crazy. Jet Setters get standing hoverboard locks to War Dogs, but the War Dogs fight it off. Drilla is sent out. Knight and Kushida doing a little bit of Motor City machine gun moves here. Kushida's friends from TNA. They go for the Culture Clash roll, but Connor spears Knight out of the roll. It was great. And Drilla ends up goring the shit out of Kushida. Drilla Killa and a no chaser to Kushida and Knight, and Drilla drags Kushida up top, or drags him up, literally drags him up, lifting him up, and they hit the full clip to Kushida, and the War Dogs retain their IWGP Jr Tag Team Championships. Then after the match, as everybody's leaving, Cobb is talking shit to TJP, saying, hey, if you want to be the leader, you need to lead by example, is what he says to him when he comes by the English commentary table. I'm like, damn, Cobb ain't letting him have he ain't going to let anything slide here. I liked it.
Well, yeah, and he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But then again, there wasn't a United Empire win from anybody on this show. So that might be a bit of the pot painting the kettle there. However, it wasn't Cobb's fault that they lost. It was Mr. O'Pon's fault.
Mhm.
And he was the champion of the British all hail for a very long time. So I don't know. Little trouble in United Empire chaos there. United Empire land. Anyway, this match was freaking incredible. It's so nice to see the Jet Setters back. Been a hot minute since we'd seen them. Well, since I'd seen them, you watch ROH a little bit more than I do, um, which is not at all.
Oh no, TNA,
um,
TNA. They're in TNA, not ROH. I don't watch TNA.
I'm not gonna lie, I barely know the difference at this point. Um, yeah, you kind of got all the big things that I kind of remember. I left my iPad downstairs, so I'm just kind of going off of my memory. Um, yeah, the second misting, the misting that TJP did, catching Drill and Maloney, yikes, that was great. The timing that Catch 22 and Bullet Club War Dogs have, I mean, they've been working each other for a year now. Just their ability to work so fluidly together is so very apparent in this match. Um, for me, also just personal favorite also in this match, Drill Maloney was just on fire whenever he was in the ring. He was so damn good. I'm very impressed with his ability to move at the size that he is. Because he's pretty cut, he's pretty jacked, he's pretty thick. But he can like I mean, it sounds silly comparing him to Brian Cage, but he's literally like a little mini version of Brian Cage.
Mhm.
Just the aerials that he can do, but then the strength that he backs up everything else with, so good. I did not like how plain Bullet Club's gear was, though. Just the plain black pants. And like with Drilla, it makes sense because he kind of looks like this, like kind of crazy, hardened military street thug person. I don't know how else to describe him. But then Clark Connors kinda looked like he was ready to boot scoot and boogie with his little cowboy boots inspired boots, which I normally like, but in these particular boots seem a little large for him, and he kinda seems to wiggle. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but he was like his ankles were rolling quite a bit in this match, and he would start to like lose his balance a little bit. I was just maybe get some better boots. Ask Mr. Maloney where he gets his. Um, Yeah, I really like the look of TJP now, though, with the half face paint and the red contacts and the red mist and everything. It's a nice evolution for his character. And Francesco Akira in this match was just he he was a very interesting person in this match for me because there were points where I would forget that he was in the match until he just came in out of nowhere and like started doing stuff and I'm like, who the hell? Oh wait, it's Akira. He's in this match, right? And then he'd be gone again. Um,
Mhm.
so good though. It's so good. It's like one of those random enter stage right, exit stage left kind of moments. But for him, he's so good at them. And I think that comes from the tutelage of TJP. Yeah, I don't
Yep.
have a ton to add to this other than that the springs in Kevin Knight's steps still very apparent.
Mhm.
He's a Tigger, I think, in real life. Wonderful thing about Tiggers. That's all I got to say for this one. Good retention for these guys. I was actually at the end of the match when there was like a ton of pinfalls and stuff going back and forth. I was like, oh my god, I was so invested in this match. I was exhausted by the end of it. It was so good.
Yeah. Again, it was a great match.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
It was
Again.
some definitely not like the same intensity that we have seen with Catch 22 and Bullet Club independently, like one on, well, I guess technically two on two before, but it was still so entertaining with the addition of the Jet Setters in there. It kind of changed the pace of the
Oh yeah.
match and made it way less intense and made it a little bit more fun.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I really do.
Hmm.
We're gonna move on to the IWGP Tag Team Title match. Bullet Club: Chase Owens and Kenta versus Bishamon, Goto, and YOSHI-HASHI. Fuck this match.
They
Just
really need to really pick better pictures for Yoshi-Hashi.
he looks like he's like 70.
Yeah, these pictures that for this tour have not been kind to him. He does not look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, take us into it, man.
He doesn't look good. But yeah, it didn't look that bad.
It was
Cobb calls YOSHI-HASHI a Ninja Turtle wannabe. I never thought about that before, but I kicked myself for not being a huge Ninja Turtles fan.
I said the same thing as soon as he came out. I was like, "That was brilliant. Why didn't we ever think about that?"
Nah, we're not as good as Cobb. Kenta
Yeah.
and Chase. Cobb has a career for himself when he retires as a commentary guy for New Japan. He
Oh,
has to.
yeah.
He says he could.
He
I
has to.
think at one point he said I could be Walker Stewart. Just have to grow a couple feet. I was just like,
Which way?
like tall. Like again, Cobb saying he's a big man, but he ain't as tall as Walker. Like
He isn't, no, because Walker was, like, as tall as the Asian people standing.
yeah. It
Like,
was
that was crazy.
yeah, because Walker. Like
He's
there's
a
a
Texas
picture.
Ranger, that one.
There's a picture from him, Akira, and Cobb, and somebody else going hiking in Japan, and like he towers over Akira.
Gino. Gino.
Gino,
Gino Gambino.
yeah, and he towers over Akira, and he's a good
Everyone
bit,
wanted that picture.
and he's towering over everybody in the picture, but like insanely towers over Akira. It's crazy, like
Yeah. I mean, the
yeah,
Italians, we build them compact.
yeah. So, Kenta and Chase attack for the bell, take out YOSHI-HASHI, double team Goto, but he fights it off, and then Bishamon ended up double teaming Chase. Cobb says that the Chase wears the t-shirt to protect his chest. It's like this is weird little comments from Cobb throughout this show were great. Marble special by Owens in the corner to Goto. They go to the
Mhm.
floor. Kenta runs YOSHI-HASHI into the barricade. Owens runs Goto into the post. Kenta and Chase working over Goto in their corner. Kenta gets a figure four head scissors. Chase gets a short arm, as Cobb called it, the short arm West Virginian lariat. Uh, why he called that, I have no idea. Kenta with the kicks and boots to the face in the corner, hits the chest kicks. Goto ends up fighting back, hits a lariat, tag out. Yoshi gets the double chops to Kenta, hits the kicks and the neck breaker for 2. Cobb making fun of YOSHI-HASHI for his blue hair when he's actually in the red corner. So he should have red hair. Just like Cobb in this match, just being a dick is so good. He's actually really eloquent and nice about things in other matches, but he's such an ass here to Yoshi. It's great. It's and to Chase too. He's kind of being an ass to Chase throughout the match. YOSHI-HASHI fights off the double team, but Kenta fights off a double team for Bishamon and gets a lariat to YOSHI-HASHI. Goto taking it to Chase Owens, and he gets in. Goto gets the wheel kick in the corner, back in the backdrop for 2. Trading strikes. Bishamon get violent flash. But Chase fights off Shoto, and Kenta hits Goto with a chair as he's pushed against the ropes. And Chase gets an inside cradle for 2. Sunset flip into the corner by Chase. Kenta hits a hesitation drop kick, takes out YOSHI-HASHI. Chase hits Goto with the jewel heist for 2. Goto fights off the package pile driver, but Chase ends up blocking, like runs the ref into the corner, but doesn't like take him out. He's just like pushing him into the corner, like into the like seated position in the corner. And this is where Kenta comes in with the belt. But Goto ends up ducking it and hits Ushigoroshi to Kenta. Chase attacks, but the C trigger gets caught. YOSHI-HASHI hits a super kick. They hit violent flash. But he fights out of Shoto again. Gets a roll up for 2 on Goto. Then hits a C trigger for 2 on Goto. Chase signals the gun, goes for another C trigger, but he hits another C trigger. But YOSHI-HASHI ends up hits a headhunter to Chase as he's going for the package pile driver. But Kenta then attacks Goto, then Kenta attacks, but then Goto lariats Kenta out. Just crazy at the end here. Bishamon ended up double team Chase. He fights off Shoto. YOSHI-HASHI hits him with a super kick. Bishamon finally hits Shoto for the win. And as I wrote, fuck.
Yeah. They Kenta again.
This goddamn team will just not go away.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, that I think that Chaos just needs a complete overhaul, rebranding of what it needs to, because like it has become bland, which is disappointing because this match was really decent. But again, I didn't feel that Bishamon did anything that I hadn't seen them do before. And that's my biggest problem with them, is that they seem to be stagnant. They haven't evolved their tag team at all, and they're not even making fun stipulations anymore. They're just unifying and ununifying and unifying and ununifying, and it's just like, El Presidente, we got better than this. We have better tag teams than this. Not you, though. Not you, Mr. Presidente. Not you. But we have better tag teams that we could have had in this match, I think. Because I personally liked Kenta and Chase Owens being the IWGP champions right now. They weren't doing a whole ton with them because I don't, for whatever reason, like letting Kenta do a whole lot now. It's disappointing. Maybe he just did too much.
Whoa.
Maybe that's what the problem is.
I have a feeling Kenta was very jet lagged. Want to know why?
Yeah, with the Defy, the Defy match.
He defended. It was at 9 a.m. He was on the show that started at 9 a.m. on Thursday in Philly. Wrestled that show, won his match against Gringo Loco, retaining his title, got on a plane to Japan for what is essentially Friday night into Saturday morning, or essentially very, very, very early in the morning on Saturday morning for those of us in North America, and Saturday evening in Japan to defend these tag titles. So I'm gonna blame this title loss on jet lag.
I wouldn't. I mean, we're talking functionally speaking. Yes, we could. But I would assume that they would fork out for the Defy champion and IWGP Tag Team champion to come home in first class. So he would have access to a bed. I would assume that he would have a little nappy nap on the way over. However, as someone who has done those trips, it's difficult to sleep on a plane when you're in a seat. I can't imagine on the laying down would feel any better. You'd just be vibrating laying down. It's very uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't have a whole ton to add to this because, like, for me, this was a fun match, but it wasn't like insanely exciting. Just because, again, there wasn't really too much that I hadn't already seen, particularly Bishamon do. I was hoping that we would get a little bit more with Kenta and Chase Owens as the champions. Maybe seeing them defend in the US a little bit, maybe seeing some more Bullet Club antics, but unfortunately, it will not be the case. At least not right now, anyway.
Yeah. So this is where I think Cobb was my favorite, was after this match. He starts asking Chris if he has enough time to cut weight so he can qualify for the junior division and enter the best of the Super Juniors. And Chris is like, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it. He's like, I know I can't. And then, we cut to a video. Guess what it is? Perfect transition by Jeff Cobb here. They're announcing Best of the Super Juniors. I laughed. They're announcing the lineup, Best of the Super Juniors, and I laughed so hard at Cobb asking how long he has until he can get it. I laughed so hard at that. So they did the video. They announced 20 participants this year for Best of the Super Juniors. You have obviously you got Show going in. You have Hiromu, or you have the Murder Machine Show, the Time Bomb, Hiromu Takahashi. You've got Taguchi, that guy. You have El Desperado. You have the Jet, Kevin Knight. You've got Direct Drive, Yo. And this is where you can see the logos in the background, and it says the Chaos is the new blue and white logo. Shows in the background behind them when you're looking at people in these
I
graphics.
was not paying attention. Keep in
Yeah,
mind, I also had a viewer with me, so I was probably discussing it.
yeah. Bushi, Bushi,
Whooshy,
Teton, Teton,
Titan, Titan,
Teton, Teton. Uh,
Titan.
the Public Enemy, TJP. The Nova Fireball, Francisco Akira. Everybody's favorite, Doki.
Yay!
Robbie Eagles makes his return for the rest of the Super Juniors. So,
Mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm.
Bone Soldier Taiji Shimori will be in it. The heel master himself, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, is in this. So we're gonna get some cheeky shit there. 100 proof, Clark Connors.
Mm-hmm.
So again, retained his title, and he's coming in this tournament. I feel like he probably signed a new contract. It feels like, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
44 caliber Drilla Maloney. That's his new
Yeah.
nickname. Yeah. And officially the Japanese young punk Kosei Fujita is in this. I love it. He's now the Japanese young punk. And then for the final 3 entrants in this is what it kind of has me excited, because they're bringing in 3 outsiders. We were talking about who from the outside could be in Best of the Super Juniors this year. We were asked this question on Japanese Wrestling Update last
Mm-hmm.
week, and we got one of them right, because we said Blake Christian, and Blake Christian is in representing ROH. He is in all heart. He's all heart, but it says all heat here, so I'm not sure what his actual moniker is.
I mean, it depends on which Blake Christensen we're going to get, because we have seen him being face and we have seen him being heel.
Yeah,
And goddamn, is he a good heel? He's like
yeah,
a major asshole when he's a heel, but we're kind of seeing him soften up for the face thing. I'd have to like sit down and look at everybody again. So I feel like we've got a pretty down the line cut of like how many heels versus how many faces are kind of
mm-hmm.
in this. I personally, after what we saw against between like Blake and Mr. Mortos over there, um, I would like to see face Blake.
Yeah, me too.
I think he would have some really good altercations with some of the Bullet Club guys and House of Torture people.
Yeah. And then the last 2 entrants, both coming from Pro Wrestling Noah, but also from GCW /
Mhm,
Pro Wrestling Noah. It's Ninja Mac making his debut in the tournament. And then
mhm.
also making his debut, the 5-time GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion from Noah. It's Hayata, baby.
Yes, I am very excited for that. That guy
Yeah.
is he's got quite the character. Very, very
Yeah.
interesting character, very interesting moveset. He's crazy. He's just like Hiromu. I would
Yeah.
almost say he's like a crazy combination of Hiromu and Sho.
Yeah. Um, if you want to know more about, if you want to see Hayata on a New Japan show, go to All Together Again from last year. He was in the 6-person semi-main event tag for that all the major junior guys from both
Yeah.
companies in it. He was in
Mhm.
that match. So, and I think at that point he still was GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion when he was in that match.
Yes, because his partner was that other champion that Hiromu won it from or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then the other
Yeah.
guy, and then there was the other guy had the bunny. Or no, the guy on the other team had the bunny. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna move on to talking about the Super Junior Tag League. Let's talk about the Junior Heavyweight Championship match right here. We get an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship Show versus Yo. Let's go. Show chases Yo out because Yo stole his belt. They get to the ringside. Yo hits a plancha. Match starts. Show blocks direct drive. Show gets in control, but Yo fights him off, hits a low drop kick, and this match is over. Yeah.
No.
I don't know what Show did, but he dislocated his shoulder, and you could literally see something sticking the frick out of his shoulder. It was
Yeah, it
gross.
was his shoulder. Um, you wanna know what he did? Because I
What did
watched
you?
it back again. He
What
just
when did?
he just he just literally sat down. He did the drop kick, and when he landed on his arm, it just jimmied really funny, and you saw him go, "Ah!" And then as soon as he moved it, I was like, "That thing is out." That's exactly how my shoulder looked when it came out. So I was like, "God dang." And we had to watch it because he didn't realize fully what had happened, and this is where I think this was his first dislocation, because I don't think he understood that it was dislocated. Because you when it happens for the first time, you just it hurts, but, like, instinctually, you just kinda go, "No, I can still move it." He was still trying to move, he was still trying to walk around, he still tried to do some moves.
Mhm.
Crazy. No, I will say, though, when Sho realized what was going on, she did the right thing in not being a dick
He just went to the
and
corner.
stayed away.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
he was still
went.
beaking off,
Mhm.
but he did the right thing in not physically interacting, because that would definitely be a House of Torture thing to do.
But
It's
as a
very, very
human being,
smart.
but as a good worker and human being, Show knew, okay, he's hurt. I need to back the fuck off. I'll
Mhm,
beak and say my shit, and then it was declared a no contest because of
mhm,
the injury. It was declared a no contest. Show gets his title, is parading around like he's a winner. As Show's taken to the outside, um, and so the doctors and trainers are checking on Yo.
mhm,
Kosei enters the ring. And everybody's
mhm.
like, "Yeah, Cherry Kujita." The cameras cut back to the freaking people, and it shows them pulling the shoulder back into place.
And it wasn't quite even back yet, it was still limp and everything. I was just like, "Bro, why?"
And they're trying to triage him to get him out of the pain, the get
Mhm,
him like get it back into place so he's not thri- throbbing in pain as much as he is because the pain does
mhm.
subside a good bit once it's put back into place. It still
It
hurts,
does.
but
Yeah.
it yeah. Dude, I'm like,
Arguably, it hurts the most, I think, a couple hours after it, once
mm,
the adrenaline is wore off and your muscles and tendons are like, "Hey, yo, what did you do to me?" Literally.
hey
"Yo,
yo.
what did you do to me?" Like,
I love because you didn't mean for that. I know that one.
"Yo, that just came out."
Yo ends up leading it under his own power. He does walk to the back,
Mhm,
so again, it's not like it sucks because I'm hoping he's back for because it's I think the 10th of May. It's this tournament starts. So
a
and
month.
the show happened on the 6th. So let's hope he it's nothing serious. It just popped out of place. There's no ligament
Mhm,
damage done in that because otherwise we've taken it out and we have to replace him with somebody else, and we don't
mhm.
want Togo. That's for sure. Yeah.
No,
So
we don't. No, we don't. But, you know who we would take if they're available, which I don't think they are. No, they aren't, because 'cause they're gonna be here. His tag partner, Leo Rush.
that, yeah, no. Leo
He's
Rush,
gonna
yeah,
be
because
here.
he's here the
You
following
go.
weekend, yeah. And then I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
say Mustafa Ali, but I'm like, no, he's here literally the day the tournament starts.
Wow, that's gonna be a crazy weekend in wrestling for us. Mustafa
Oh,
Ali and Leo Rush.
so okay, so for us here in Edmonton, Alberta, we have AEW on May 8th, Wednesday. We have
Oh my
CW
god.
we have CWE featuring Savio Vega and the Zombie Princess Jimmy Jacobs on the 9th. We then have
Oh, I
Top
forgot about that
Talent.
too.
We then have Top Talent Pro Wrestling with Mustafa Ali on the 10th. We also have the Best of the Super Juniors starting that day, or right around there. And then I think on the weekend there's we have Leo Rush on the Saturday or Sunday here in Edmonton with RCW. So we're going to be very busy those few days, and it's going to be a very expensive few days.
I mean, thank Christ that the companies here are competing for our attention, though. Thank God. God damn. That's
Yeah,
gonna be one hell of a month for wrestling.
yeah. So let's hope Yo is back in time. Otherwise, like there's some great juniors in North America that they could probably convince to come do this tournament. It's very possible. But again, I feel like
Oh, yeah.
they probably end up pulling somebody from All Japan or from Noah. Mo
Mao.
Mao Mao. Bring us some
Mao.
bring him to us, Mao.
Bring him to us now.
So
You could
Fujita
come up wearing like a Gary t-shirt.
Fujita gets the mic, says Show is the worst champ in history. How about I take it and become the youngest champ in history? Then Doki is back. He shows up, says, I understand how you feel, but I beat Hiromu Takahashi last year. Before you, I get a shot. And it's Doki and Fujita now talking to each other. They're not even acknowledging Show now. Show gets pissed.
Fair.
He gets a mic and says, you don't know how tough I am. I'm above person from a junk town like you. I think this is all from translation. From a junk town like you, referring to Fujita, I'm above a guy who wrestled in mud huts in Mexico. To Doki, he says, I'm above you. And then Chris said he shit on the AMA. I don't know what AMA is, but it's something to do with wrestling over there. I don't know. I know AMA as the people that come and unlock my car when I get locked out of it.
That's my insurance provider.
Oh yeah. Again, so Kosei Fujita ends up hitting a springboard dropkick to Show, and he picks up the junior title, raises it above his head, It looks right. It looks right to me. I think that's where that title belongs. He then drops the belt and leaves. Doki then picks up the belt, yells at Show, and then Doki just leaves with the belt. I can't remember what he told Show there because I didn't write it down. I literally started typing Doki told Show you could, and then I stopped writing. I was this translation, but
I'm gonna hang on to this for you.
No, he said, you can fight you can challenge whoever wins between me and Fujita, is what he said. I remember now. Because you can challenge whoever faces Genesis and get your title back, maybe. So I laughed at that.
You want that though? I want a triple threat.
Let's go.
Hell, I want a fatal four-way with Yo coming back.
And Fujita wins.
No. It'll still be a great match, though.
Fujita wins.
No.
Fujita! No. Japanese young punk Fujita! Let's go.
He is not the most experienced person in the ring. He hasn't put in some stuff. He's got some stuff he's need to put in. He can't just win the first title.
Youngest champ ever.
There's an opportunity after the Super Juniors. He can win the Super Junior and have it after then.
There we go. So we're going to move on. We're talking some Shota Umino and Jon Moxley versus House of Torches, Jack Perry and Ren Narita. Mox and Umino
does Ren Narita look like evil, like a miniature evil in this picture?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for.
It's disappointing.
Mox and Umino coming out together first to Shota's music, then it turns into Moxley's music. Long ass entrance, even on 1.5 times the speed. It's still long.
At least it was together and they didn't come out individually. It's got down.
Cobb and Jeff Cobb, Chris Charlton say this will be violent and sadistic. And Chris says he's like, I'm gonna be biased. He says I want to see House of Torture get their asses kicked and then Chris Charlton talks about Bryan Danielson beating Blue Panther at CMLL a few hours before this on Friday night over here. So it's just like, all right, again, you're talking about Mox, you're talking about one of his friends, I guess, yeah. It's just weird little thing he brought up. Umino and Mox attack before the bell, before House of Torture could attack before the bell. You see what I mean? They got the jump on them. Because House of Torture would have tried. House of Torture gets the advantage back. Narita runs Mox into the barricade on the floor. Perry and Narita tagging in and out, working over Umino. Umino tossed out. He's attacked on the floor. He's running to the barricade. Narita gets a suplex in the ring for 2. Mox gets in. He ends up running roughshod over Narita. He gets the 26 punches in the corner. Like he's just unloading. He's not even trying to get a count. He's just like, just unloading on Narita up in the corner. It was great. He puts him up. As if he's going to suplex, then pulls the shirt up, pulls the ELP Special Dermis Destroyer to the back of Narita and just repeatedly just clawing at the back. It was just like, ew, gross. Narita fights him off. Mox ends up getting a bulldog choke. They end up fighting to the floor. Mox runs Narita into the barricade. Then he runs Perry into the barricade. Narita comes back with an exploder on the floor. He gets one. He gets one in the ring, but it's the Narita special with the bridge for 2. Mox dodges a dive and hits a cutter. Perry and Umino are in. Umino takes him down. Corner elbow, fisherman bridge for 2. Perry with the rolling Northern Light suplexes, goes up to the top and hits the F ya elbow drop. He flips up the crowd off, telling them to F off, and it's elbow drop for 2. House of Torture double team Umino. But Umino fights back. Mox dives onto Narita on the floor. Umino hits that over the top rope apron hangman DDT that he does to Perry. Like he's through the ropes and he goes over the top and DDTs him onto the apron. Hangman DDT style. When you poke out the ropes and you DDT him, that's a Hangman's DDT. And
JEW, you saying Hangman's DDT is not making it any clearer for me of what I am supposed to be envisioning.
Okay, an over the top rope apron green killer. Is that better?
Okay, thank you. Yes, that paints a better picture.
I was thinking Randy Orton. I had Randy Orton in my head for his Hangman DDT, but yeah, there you go. And same thing as a green killer. I was called Randy Orton's DDT a green killer on Sunday. Remember?
Is that the thing that Dalton does that you criticized him for that one time?
Yes, I think so. Dude, it was bad. He did up bad.
he did a bad, sir. He did a bad.
Umino gets a drop kick and an exploder in the ring for 2. Perry super kicks. It's a super kick. They clash with lariats. More kicks from Perry, but Umino hits a drop kick. They're both down. Mox and Narita both tag in. They're brawling. Narita hits running boots. Mox catches one, hits a lariat, and then a corner lariat, and hits a superplex off the top for 2. Death Rider is blocked into an abdominal stretch, but it's broken up. Perry takes Umino out to the floor. Narita goes to choke Mox with the push-up bar, but Umino pushes Mox out of the way. He's choking Mox with the bar. Then he goes to hit him, but Mox, this is where Umino pushes Mox out of the way. He hits Umino and takes him out. Mox gets a back body drop to Narita, but Narita gets a sleeper after he reverses the lariat, but then Mox reverses the sleeper into the Death Rider for the win, kind of out of nowhere here. I was like, okay. And again, good match, and the least amount of shenanigans I could expect from a House of Torture match, honestly.
I was pleasantly surprised with this, actually.
Really, the only shenanigans were the push-up bar.
Yeah. And it was an appropriate amount of shenanigans. It made sense. It wasn't obnoxious. This was the first House of Torture match in a very, 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 very long time where the shenanigans weren't too much, where they weren't obnoxious. And it's very interesting, again, because we've seen this development of Jack Perry, of Ren Narita, where they've just come out of their boring ass shells and have become these like badass, immature, just rude, but so educated wrestlers. It's been a treat to watch. And like with Jack Perry, it was almost instantaneous. We saw 1, maybe 2 matches of him before we started seeing his personality. Ren Narita, he struggled a little bit, but I feel like the association with House of Torture has helped him come out of that shell a bit more. And this match helped the 2 of them kind of bond together a little bit, which I think they need, because I feel very passionately that Jack Perry just kind of came into NJPW and just yoinked everything that they had for Narita set up in his feud with Shota, in his, because this is going to be a frenemies kind of thing. Ren Narita and Shota. This is going to be we were best friends for so long, and now this is like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn 2.0 starting right here. This is the beginning of it. These two are going to be intertwined in their careers for the rest of their careers, I think. And I feel like Perry kind of came in and has kind of swiped that from Narita right now. And I feel like there's nothing really, there's no direction for Narita right now. He's just kind of a Kanemaru in House of Torture. He's just kind of there, which is disappointing because he's such a good technical wrestler. I'd like to be like seeing him do more. Um, Pleasantly surprised of Moxley in this one. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of his work, but him and NJPW is just, it's fire. It's good. And you've been mentioning, because again, I don't watch AEW, but you've been mentioning that his stuff on AEW has been a little bit better. He's been wrestling better. I'm not gonna lie, he looks fantastic. And not that he never did look fantastic, but there have been a number of moments throughout Moxley's career with NJPW where he just did not look healthy. And,
Well,
like, I don't mean in his build, I mean, like, in other things that were happening. His color, he would sweat excessively, like, there was a lot of issues going on.
well,
So he didn't look healthy.
in his early NJPW days, he was still drinking, and he did have a
Mhm.
problem. He got himself cleaned up, and he's been up and down with his weight. But again, that's anybody
Mhm,
coming out
mhm.
of having substance issues and stuff. But he's really, I think, found that perfect spot for himself. Yeah, he sweats like everybody else does
Mhm.
now, but he doesn't look like he's excessively sweating. He does, and again,
Yeah.
he's gotten himself healthy and gotten himself into a good place, off,
Mhm.
off of the booze.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Shocking how that happens.
Mhm.
All the
Yeah.
things that Melball is dealing with people with that shit. This should be a great example of what you can be, because Imma say it, because it's weird for me to say. John Moxley, build-wise, had the best build in the ring, and he's, I would say, because he's gotta be close to my age, isn't he? Late 30s, early 40s?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Because Jack Perry and Ren Narita are both very, very young. Same with Shota Umino. They are in
38.
their mid. There
38.
he goes. Yeah. So he's closer to 40 than he is to 20, whereas Shota, Ren, and Perry are closer to 20 than they are to 40.
I think they're all in their mid-20s now, like, at least.
Yeah, I don't think that they're much older than 25.
I think
I
Perry
don't
was
think
24
anyone.
a couple of years ago, but that's just my brain. But
That, still, a near 40-year-old man looks better than the 320-year-olds in the ring. That's saying something about your work ethic and how far you have come personally. So that for me was a huge plus, because I have been very, very critical of him over the last few years. And another thing that I loved, man, we didn't get blood. I mean, we expected violence, we expected craziness. I didn't see blood. Why are you making that face?
they're all 97 babies. They're all 26. And Umino
Wow.
Umino turns 27 on the 17th of April.
Good job, Mr. Moxley. Like 38 looking better than these 26-year-olds. That says something about you. Um, wasn't a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of Shota's new look. I do like that he has shorter hair, but he does kind of look like a Japanese Ken doll right now. I'm not a fan. And I miss his tights. I'm not a fan of the baggy pants. I kind of want
Well,
the tights.
I understand
Yeah.
why. I can see why you're not a fan of of the baggy pants. You want tights back.
No, but yes, but aesthetically speaking, though, also, those pants don't do anything for the shape of his legs. They just look like tubes. So he
Yeah.
just looks like he has 2 paper towel tubes on his legs, and then they attach at a belt at his waist. It doesn't do anything for him, and he actually has really nice legs, and this is the time he needs to be showing those things off, because while he has the legs, and while he has the butt attached to it, unlike Mr. El Presidente, who's still wearing tights, who should probably be wearing Shota's pants. Um, you know, you have to take our viewing into consideration also. I don't want to suffer looking at you.
Well, I think Tanahashi could do for going to the baggy pants like Rey Mysterio did and putting knee braces underneath and like have knee braces on to help him. And then it's not obvious either.
To help him walk.
That's what Rey Mysterio did for years under his big baggy pants were knee braces. So he ended up getting his knees worked on, and he's obviously back in the tight. He wears the tighter gear now because he's not having to wear the knee braces like he used to. But yeah.
Well, that should definitely be something considered because, gosh dang, I worry about El Presidente's knees.
Yeah. Now we move on to the Never Openweight Championship match. It's Evil, who's the champion, defending against Shingo Takagi. With their as in quotation marks, special guest referee, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I don't think this was ever official. Even though because Marty Asami is out there. And he immediately gets into a shoving match with Kanemaru and sends him to the back because he's not actually a ref.
It was so cute. No. Here's tiny little Marty Asami just like,
and he's like, meh. And like he's not backing down,
cutting right in his face, just as much as he could. He was getting right in his chin.
Yeah, it was great though. I loved it.
It was so good. Poor Marty though.
So yeah, both Togo and Kanemaru are thrown out. So this we get into it. Evil attacks for the bell. Shingo knocks Evil down. He does a dab. He literally dabs. Then he starts dropping elbows and hits a senton. Everybody's Japanese daddy hit dabs today. So, oh Jesus!
What?
You heard me.
Everybody's Japanese daddy.
Yeah.
Shingo is daddy. I mean,
there you go. Well, you've said it before to me when we were just watching him, so I figured I'd make the joke here.
Oh dear.
Evil. Again, he goes to the floor. He's pulling his shit on the outside. And then they go to do this thing where Shingo's out. He tries to run him into Abe-san. Shingo stops it. They get up on the apron. Evil tries to knock him off the apron into Abe-san, but he doesn't get it. This is where he comes out and tackles. Evil tackles Shingo into Abe-san, taking Abe-san out. Shingo gets back in at 13. They did go for the chair duel, but Evil hit Shingo in the gut and then hit the home run shot with the chair, and then Shingo got in at 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Evil attacks. Referee takes away the T-shirt. He wants to choke him, but Evil gets. I didn't see what he had in his hand, but he was choking him with like the tape, or what? I don't know what it was.
I couldn't tell either. At first, when I first saw it, I thought it was actually the Garrett, but it would have been more bulky.
Yeah, I didn't look at the Garrett either. So, and Dick Toga did have his Garrett later on. He chokes Shingo. He goes to work on the knee. And he goes, and Chris says a comment we have said every time. He says there are so many out there that are saying there are great individual wrestlers within House of Torture, but because they use the shenanigans, he didn't say shenanigans, but he uses all these tactics, we hate them so much. Chris Charlton reads our minds. He is a genius.
Maybe he watches the show.
We're going to get a lot of back and forth throughout. Suplexes, Dragon Screws, Evil's working, like poking at the eyes. A lot of really good stuff back and forth with these guys. I'm going to kind of roll through a bunch of it. Shingo takes Evil to the top, hits the superplex, only gets two. Shingo fires up. It's tea time, as Chris Charlton yells. Yujiro shows up. Evil fights out of Made in Japan, fakes the knee injury. Yujiro moves corner pad. Evil does the foot does the foot to the ref thing, like the kick, catches the kick, throws to the ref, and kicks him low. And then he mocks the LIJ pose like a dick. Like Evil does a LIJ pose. I was like, you dick. Evil gets darkness, falls for two. He's trying lariats, can't drop Shingo. Shingo catches the arm, snaps it. Shingo unloads, but Evil gets the eye poke. And Yujiro, he runs him into the ropes. Yujiro hits him with the chairs. The rest distracted. And Evil gets the Darkness Scorpion. Bushi, after Shingo gets up, Bushi shows up. I mean, I put quotation marks on Bushi. You can tell it's not Bushi from the beginning. And it ends up being Togo. He attacks Shingo on the ropes. The real Bushi shows up, pulls the mask off to reveal Dick Togo, the other Dick. The Dick in it.
Would that be technically indecent exposure?
He revealed his dick. He revealed Evil's dick in public.
He publicly exposed him.
He publicly exposed Evil's dick. um, uh, Togo runs the ref into Bushi. Kanemaru shows up, and he plays referee, encouraging all the bullshit. We get Dick to Dick contact. Magic Killer from Dick and Evil. And Kanemaru does a fast 3 count and declares Evil the winner. And Yujiro rings the bell, but it's not actually over because Kanemaru is not an actual ref. Hiromu shows up in a ref shirt, though. Takes out Togo. Shingo hits a lariat with lariats, but Evil runs Shingo into Hiromu. Hits a low blow. They fight. Shingo ends up fighting back. Hits everything in his dragon, but Kanemaru stops the pin. Kanemaru takes a shot, but Shingo stops the Santori surprise. Togo gets the garrote, but Shingo fights off the garrote. And Bushi sends Togo to the floor, hits the suicide dive. Shingo takes the shot, ducks the belt drop from Evil, hits the he gets the Santori surprise. Yujiro misses with the powder, hits Evil in the face with the powder. Hiromu takes out Yujiro. Hiromu brings an actual ref, Red Shoes, in. Shingo picks up Evil, last of the dragon. And Shingo Takagi is your official winner and the new he saves the Never Openweight Championship.
He did. He saved
So
it.
before we talk post match, let's talk the match. I'll let you talk the match yourself.
I mean, what else could you add to this? This was chaos, but it was like, it was not the House of Torture level shenanigans again that I was expecting. It was getting there. It was working its way there.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, we had a deviation there from plans, which I'm very happy about. I wonder how much of that had to do with what Show and Yo had to deal with earlier in the show. I don't know. But Show was suspiciously absent from the shenanigans involving this match, as were the two gentlemen before, Red Narita and Jack Perry, who have been coming out quite regularly with these guys to do their shenanigans stuff.
And Tsuji and Naito weren't there to help because they were getting ready for their match in the main event. So,
This is where we could benefit with maybe one or two more members joining LIJ, but can be dealt with at a later time.
Where was Teton? Where was Zandikin? Come on, boys, get your asses in there.
Mexico wrestling in CMLL.
Supposed to show up for your boys, man.
I'm also pretty sure Teton was actually wrestling the same show that D-Bry Dibbity Doo Da Day there was wrestling.
He was.
He was. Yeah. Zandikin most likely as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have anything to add to this. Take us into the post.
Yeah, so Shingo gets the mic. He starts to do his quick. He's like, "Let me have it. I just need a quick minute." I says, "I'm the 40th Never Openweight Champion, and the War Dogs attack. Take out LIJ. Kid takes the mic. He just got a question, calling everything a joke, calling everyone dickheads. He shits on Tim. He talks shit about Tanahashi. Spits at him because Tanahashi's at ringside on commentary. I did catch. He says, Did I nearly off myself twice for this?" And I'm like, "Okay, dark. It's going dark here, man." He goes, "As God is my witness, FUCK NJPW. I'll kill Naito. War Dogs are taking everything. I'll take the Never title and bring some respect back to this place." Like, Gabe Kidd's on a freaking mission, man.
Already, Gabe Kidd is back.
He is.
Captain Sassy Pants has left the building.
I'm gonna call him wreck shit, Gabe Kidd. He's wrecking shit now, man. Like, he's ready just to tear this place down.
Gabe.
Wreck-It Gabe, man. After all this happens, so Shingo starts talking to Tana, who's like pointing at the belt, and I'm hoping what I hope he was saying was, "Hey man, let's get a new look for the belt. I don't want this trash."
Yeah, like you got the money. You can give me some for a belt. That'd be
Don't
great.
just don't
And
just give us
Evil had
another.
to hightail it out of there too, making it to WrestleMania, Philadelphia, to watch his lady defend
Who's
her
this lady?
title. Io Sky?
Oh, is that who she's with?
Mm. At least that's what I was told.
I don't know.
'Twas what I was told, and I saw a picture of him in the crowd.
I know he was there because again, I was very surprised being that he works Sakura Genesis. I was like, huh.
Yeah. I mean, when there's a will, there's a way. Love always finds a way, right?
Love
It's good
always
to know
finds
his
a way.
heart isn't fully black.
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't say anything on anything about it. Yeah.
Well, we've had the internet fail you once already. Let's not have it fail you again.
Yeah, let's have it not let's have it fail me every day. Sorry. Yeah, but
Join
again,
us, sir. Join us.
so we're gonna move on. Main event of the evening. It's Tetsuya Naito versus Yota Tsuji. It's the champion versus the New Japan Cup winner. It's LIJ versus LIJ. Mel, I'm gonna let you run us through this one.
Oh, my
I'm
notes are
just kidding.
downstairs.
I know that's why I said it. I'm just kidding.
Rude.
Naito takes forever to get undressed as usual. Tsuji pulling Naito's hair early. Naito sending Tsuji to the floor just to fake out. The fake out dive into the pose, but Tsuji slides in right away and stomps on Naito's head. I was like,
Mhm.
yes. Tsuji gets that head trap stomp in the corner to Naito. Gets two body scissors by Tsuji, but Naito gets to the ropes. Again, a lot of good back and forth here. Yeah, Tsuji goes for the suicide dive, but forgets the suicide dive, sending Naito into the barricade. Tsuji running Naito into the barricade a couple times, drops him face first in the apron, gets a camel clutch back in the ring. Then he goes into that knee into the back arm pull back stretch, and then hits a back like a kneeling backstabber. It was kind of cool. I like that.
Mhm.
Naito fights back. Tsuji spits at Naito. Naito attacks him, gets a hip toss onto the knee, snapmare and drop kick to the head. Naito catches the boot, spit like as Tsuji goes to boot him, but he spits at Tsuji's face, and then he gets it up into the corner. He gets that hanging inverted DDT out of the corner, or an hanging inverted green killer for two out of the corner. And gets two. Naito gets another hip toss to the knee. He's pulling him out. It's that neck breaker off the apron to the floor. Back inside, he hits a neck breaker to the knee. Gets the leg trap full Nelson, but Tsuji gets to the ropes. Tsuji again, they go a lot of going back and forth here with their big moves. He gets tilt world backbreaker, Naito, and he starts working him over, beating him up. He sends Naito to the floor again, goes for the dive, but Naito's like draped against the apron. They end up fighting on the apron. Tsuji hits a thrust kick and does that. Like he kind of gets the stomp off the apron to the floor, but it's kind of messed up. Mel's distracted by a dog, I'm guessing. Yes, I'm guessing you're
Wants
distracted by.
my attention.
Yeah. Kick him and say later. That's what I do. That's
You
what I do
kick
when
a
your dog.
dog?
Oh, your dog. I kick your dog all the time.
How rude.
Not hard, just like little kicks. Like Orange Cassidy kicks. Like playful little like kicks to him. Like
Oh, gee.
I don't hurt him. It's just like little like play kicks, and he attacks my
My
foot.
poor baby.
Well, he attacks my foot. Don't worry.
I
He's like
guarantee you he does not.
he does. When I poke at him with my foot, he's like at my feet. Yeah, he does. It's fun. It's a good time. Naito gets the Kaipo kick to reverse the Gene Blaster. Hits a running Destino. Goes for Destino, but stopped, and Tsuji gets the Gene Blaster. Trading strikes. Valencia's countered into a backbreaker face buster stomp combo. Tsuji gets the Boston Crab, but Naito quickly gets to the ropes. Tsuji hits a stomp. Tsuji puts Naito up top, but Naito shoves him off. Tsuji comes back up, hits the superplex for 2, then applies the Boston Crab, turns it into Lion Tamer. This is a callback to their match when Tsuji left in his final match before he left for Excursion. Naito had him in that Lion Tamer and tapped him out with the Lion Tamer there. Dick. And Tsuji ends up letting go. Tsuji hits it's that springboard stomp, and it's called the Marlowe Crash. That's what Chris called it. He called it the Marlowe Crash. I think that's what he said. I listened to it like 4 times to get the name, and he said Marlowe Crash. They have that springboard stomp, but it's springboard stomp thing. Only gets 2. He hits a variation of what looked like Darkness Falls. Naito kicks out at what Chris said was 2.7. Chris said if that last one was 2.5, this one was 2.7.
Just a little closer. Just the slightest bit closer.
Yeah, Tsuji goes for Gene Blaster, but Naito monkey flips the Gene Blaster, lawn darting Tsuji into the corner. And it hits his own Gene Blaster, but only gets 1. He goes for Valencia, but it's reversed. Naito catches the knee strike, hits Valencia, but the Destino is blocked. Tsuji goes for the Falcon Arrow, but that's turned into Destino. Then Naito hits Destino for the 1, the 2, and the 3 to retain his IWGP World Title. And Naito is your winner. And I'm happy about this because I would have been happy with Tsuji winning, but I'm also happy with Naito continuing this reign.
Yeah, I wanted Tsuji to win though. I love Naito. I mean, I'm wearing his shirt for goodness sake, but it would have been. I felt a really great passing of the torch, and they just set it up so well for them to not do it. So I'm a little disappointed with that. But what I'm not disappointed about is seeing some quality Destinos, seeing some quality Gene Blasts, seeing some quality freaking wrestling. I don't know what else I can add to this. This was just a really, really great main event that was like, considering the chaos of the couple matches that came before it, it was a nice, more steady pace. I would compare this to like a classic roller coaster that gave you that climb, slow 100-foot climb at the beginning and then slowly drifted you off and you had a great time throughout it, but then it slowed down at the end there. It wasn't like some of these ones that just shot you out the tunnel at, 60 miles an hour or something, like the Incredible Hulk in Orlando, Florida does. You know what I mean? Like it was a
All I can think now is the last time you literally made a roller coaster joke. Our stream
I know.
on us.
I can't help it. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love those roller coasters. And it's a great comparison because how many roller coasters do you know do that?
I hate roller coasters.
Yeah, I probably should because I'm usually too small to fit most of them, and I'm usually kind of moving around in the actual restraints, which is a little uncomfortable, but is what it is. Yeah, I felt that the pace was a little slow at some points though, where it almost would not be able to keep my attention. But the 2 people involved, it was hard for me to also look away. These are 2 of my favorite wrestlers in NJPW right now, especially Tsuji. Like, I am a big Naito fan, but man, Tsuji since coming back has he's hit the ground running, and he has just despite, like, he had his big match against, Sonata and then kinda took a little bit of a step back after that, but he didn't take too far of a step back. I feel like despite not being in the big title picture, he's had a lot of attention on him, and he's managed to keep a lot of attention on him. Because then going into that feud with Yuya, having the hair versus hair match. Like that kind of breathed new life into him to set up for this. And then the the cup win just was just that cherry on top. So I really did feel that winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship from Naito here was just going to be that extra whipping cream, the little sprinkles on top, maybe some edible glitter just for shits and giggles. Um, Alas, we just got this incredible match of apparent like it felt like student versus the teacher, and it just ended up being this amazing shenanigan free main event that we have been waiting for the last little while. It was great.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Post
Mr. Naito.
post match, Mox comes out and they set up their match at Windy City Rally to be a World Heavyweight
Mhm.
Championship match. And Mox says, Chicago, April 12th, IWGP Championship, new champion. That's pretty much it.
Mm.
It's possible. It's a small possibility, Mel. Or Tanahashi seems to like Moxley, so you never know. He might give him the title.
Good for him, but El Presidente, we need to be doing things for your company, not for your friends. So the better part of the company does not want nor need John Moxley to be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. We need someone who's going to be in Japan regularly because we already have we got that global title. Now where the fizzity yuck is it? Where's
It,
Mr.
it's
Nemeth this week?
it,
Is
it's
he in
it's
Philly
it's
too?
it's it's all around the global. It's all around the globe right now. It's everywhere in the globe
I'm like,
except Japan.
but here's my problem though. When was the last time it was mentioned? When was the last time it was seen? Does he have that title with him? Is he
Friday,
showing it off?
this
Is he
coming
carrying it
Friday,
around?
this coming Friday.
Okay, what? When did he win it? When was the last time it was shown?
A
This is
month
my
and a half
thing.
ago.
We already have a Moxley 2.0 right now in Nick Nemeth kidnapping that global belt. And to his credit, he has defended it, I think, once. And that's hasn't
When?
he? I
I
don't
don't think so.
know.
I haven't
I
seen a
rely
defense.
on your memory for this.
I haven't seen a
Has
defense.
he? Oh no, he set it up. He set it
Yeah,
up because he
he
wants
should.
Tanahashi, right?
Well, he won Tanahashi, but he's getting Ishii this Friday.
See, this is my problem. Because if that belt was still around David Finley's that belt was still around David Finley's waist, how often would we have seen that championship in the last couple of months since he's had it?
Well, yeah, we would have seen it on him during the New Japan Cup, but today would have been the first title defense, or would have been the next title defense. So really, it's not like it's that different. Just Nemeth hasn't been around with the title. Finley wouldn't have
But
defended it till the show.
that's the thing though. Moxley was also not around with the title either. Now, COVID was a different thing, but they had the strong brand. There were strong people over there, and Moxley himself, I think, even appeared on the strong brand at one point. So, like, did he not?
I think he appeared like a once or twice.
Okay, only make that face if it was not at all and factually. You made me feel stupid for a second there.
I had to
He
make you
was
feel that way.
there.
I know I have to because you're not dumb. Not at all.
There was a very long period of time that John Moxley did not defend the US title. This is very staunchly against what it is that NJPW has set up for its titles. We saw Tomohiro Ishii at one point have to relinquish the Never Openweight title, I believe it was, because he was sick and he did not get an opportunity to defend it within the 30-day period. He was stripped of it then. This is what should happen if you don't appear in the company with the title. John Moxley did this. He was given a pass. Now we have it with Nick Nemeth. I'm not happy with this. However, if we can get someone to re-separate that Intercontinental. I know that we have a global one, but we can do an Intercontinental something too. We can't keep putting belts on foreign people and then sending the foreign people away. That
I agree.
defeats the purpose. We need to have some titles still remaining. And to be honest, we've got the strong grand titles. Why aren't those the traveling titles? Why are NJPW titles becoming the sisterhood of the traveling belts?
Yeah, I don't know. But I did find something out. Io Sky engaged to Evil. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must be tough.
Because they got engaged before COVID.
It must be tough with her living and working over here, and him living and working over in Japan. It must be tough on a relationship. It's a strong relationship.
I mean, just because we don't understand it or think it might be tough doesn't mean that someone who's accustomed to it.
Oh no, I'm
Because
just
a lot
saying.
of people can make that stuff kind of work. Yeah, I personally wouldn't. I have trust issues because people got lion issues. But, is what it is. Take us into the outro, sir.
It is time to get out of here. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us here on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can find me on the X at That Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada Dude. You can find me on Facebook at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me right here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find us over in SundayNightsMainEvent.com. All of our stuff there in audio form. Lots of great content going out over there. Thank you guys. Check out our Stardom review from last week where we dropped our JWU show, which was also partially a Stardom review show. We reviewed the Stardom American Dream show. Check that out. If you want to support them, you can go to patreon.com/SNME Radio for only $4 per American per month. So support them over there. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Our Local Establishment and youtube.com/at Our Local Establishment, where you can find me and Mel every Friday doing the Japanese wrestling update. It'll be in the afternoon this week because we're going to be watching Windy City Riot that evening. So be prepared for that to be in the middle of the afternoon. Also, you can find me Wednesday night, as the same day the show comes out, Wednesday, April 10th, talking Marvel Talk with my boy Old Ed, and it's a brand new episode because it's not the rebound. We're talking the first 5 episodes of X-Men 97. I've watched the first 3. I'm going to watch the final 2 tomorrow morning once the 5th episode comes out. I'll watch episodes 4 and 5. We're going to talk about them, and we'll be back in May with the final 5 episodes of that show. So check us out over there. You can see the replay on YouTube. Also, give a big shout out to our boy Mike the Ref over Backbreaker Video, simulcasting and supporting us in every which way. YouTube.com/at Backbreaker Video. All the great wrestling content he puts up there. He does AEW watch-alongs there that you can watch replays of. If you want to see those AEW watch-alongs live, go to twitch.tv/Mike the Ref, where you can see all his great live watch-alongs. And you can find lots of great gaming content over there. If you want replays of the gaming content he does, go to youtube.com/at Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find content from him, Mr. PJC, the man whose sticker I picked up, Mr. Rick Jules, my boy Jason, and their special guest, the wonderful, the awesome Kayla J.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. We love Kayla J here.
We do.
And you should too.
Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find her, as Andre mentioned, on Our Local Establishment's programming, Japanese Wrestling Update, on Fridays, when it's usually on at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, unless it's not. When it's usually not. But you can stick to our socials to see when we are going to be releasing that. You can also find me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do where we do our show Ladies Wrestling Showcase, a show all about the ladies, and we got some ish to talk about coming out of WrestleMania, as well as the Stardom Dream. Lots of news we need to talk about, so you check out our socials to see when we will be releasing that. What else? If you're wanting to watch NJPW, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is njpwworld.com. It is 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out Sean Spears, and congratulations for being back on NXT. But it's more like 750. The claw. but still a great price to watch some great professional wrestling. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to thank you so very much for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube or other of the YouTube pages, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, share it out to all your besties, your frenemies, your enemies, and all the other ish in this world. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello. And don't forget, if you're listening on Sunday night's main event, please like the channel, whatever you're on, subscribe to the RSS feed. Please give us a 5-star review if you can. And if you do want to support, patreon.com/SNME Radio for only $4 American per month. And so thank you so very much.
And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.